Lesson 1. What Santería is and what it is not. My name is Steve Vargas Betancourt, truth seeker, knowledge keeper, builder of what must be rebuilt. Santería. Before we go any further, we need to address the word Santería itself, because some people will say, and they're not wrong, that Santería is a misnomer. Historically, the term did not originate from within the religion. It emerged during colonial times and was used to describe Afro-Cuban practitioners through the lens of Catholic imagery, like saint keepers, caretakers of statues, people perceived to be quote-unquote working the saints. Practitioners themselves have long used more precise names like La Regla de Ocha, Ocha y Fa, or the Lukumi religion. So let's be clear from the beginning. When the word Santería is used in this series, it is not being used ignorantly, commercially, or casually. It is being used as a public-facing doorway, a bridge to speak accurately about a disciplined hierarchical ritual system known internally as La Regla de Ocha. The name is not the teaching, the structure is. Before we talk about ceremonies, before we talk about Orishas, before we talk about initiation, power, or ashé, we have to correct a misunderstanding that sits at the very foundation of this tradition. Because if this first piece is misunderstood, everything that follows will be distorted. Santería, or more precisely, La Regla de Ocha, is not a belief system. It is not a philosophy. It is not a lifestyle identity, and it is not spiritual entertainment. It is a ritual system, a living inherited discipline system designed to interact with reality, not explain it. Most people approach this tradition the way they were taught to approach religion. They ask, what do you believe? Who do you worship? What does this symbol mean? What does this ritual represent? But this system does not ask what you believe. It asks what is out of alignment, what must be corrected, who has jurisdiction over this situation, what must be fed, cooled, or removed, or restored. Belief alone does nothing here. You can believe deeply and still be blocked, still be sick, still be spiritually disordered, because belief does not move ashé. Correct action does. This tradition operates the way ancient systems always operated, as technology, not ideology. Every ceremony exists because something in the universe requires maintenance, not symbolism, not metaphor, maintenance. If a foundation is cracked, you don't believe it into alignment. If wiring is unstable, you don't pray electricity into order. If something is leaking, you intervene correctly or the problem persists. This system treats destiny, health, relationships, ancestral imbalance, spiritual interference the same way. Ceremony is intervention. This tradition assumes something many modern systems avoid saying out loud. Human destiny is not static. You are born with a destiny. That destiny can be obstructed. Those obstructions can be inherited, and they can be corrected, but only through authorized ritual action. Not all problems are psychological. Not all problems are emotional, and not all problems are solved through insight. Some conditions persist because ancestors are unrested, spiritual debts were never resolved, doors were opened and never closed, power was accessed without containment. Talking about those things does nothing. They must be addressed ritually. Modern spirituality teaches that intention is everything. This system teaches something far more sobering. Intention without correctness can make things worse. You can have good intentions and still feed the wrong force, activate the wrong pathway, open something you cannot close. That is why improvisation is not allowed here. Ceremonies are done in a specific order with with specific materials, under specific authority, at specific times, because ashé responds to precision, not enthusiasm. There's something else that needs to be said here, because this is where many people quietly get stuck. Correct ritual is not the same thing as mechanical ritual. You can do the right action on the right day with the right materials and still not be growing. Why? Because this tradition does not respond to checklists. It responds to relationship. Repeated acts matter, but not because they look spiritual. They matter because over time, they train the person to respond, not just perform. A leader, elder, or godparent should be able to tell the difference between someone who is bonded and someone who is mechanical. You can hear it in their language. You can see it in how they speak about their warriors, their boveda, their egum. One sounds like obligation. The other sounds like affinity. If your relationship with spirit sounds like a schedule, it's Monday, so I did this. It's Friday, so I changed that. And something deeper has not connected yet. Consistency is not about repetition. It is about sensitization. Over time, correct repetition should soften you, sharpen your perception, deepen your listening, and change your language from procedural to relational. Mechanical practice creates stagnation. Bonded practice creates movement, and this system always responds to movement. This is not manifestation culture. It is not intuition-based guessing. It is not emotional release disguised as ritual. It does not exist to make you feel powerful. It exists to make you aligned. Sometimes alignment feels empowering. Sometimes it feels humbling. Sometimes it feels inconvenient. But it always follows law, not mood. So lesson 1 is this. This tradition does not ask what you believe. It asks whether you are prepared to act correctly. It does not reward excitement. It rewards discipline. It does not respond to identity. It responds to jurisdiction. And until this is understood, every conversation about Orishas, ceremonies, or power will remain surface level. Because here, understanding begins with order. My name is Steve Vargas Betancourt, truth seeker, knowledge keeper, builder of what must be rebuilt. And this is lesson 1. Ashé. Ashé.